Okay guys, this comparison will be massive, and what we have on the table: Vivo X300 Pro, Xiaomi 17 Pro Max, Oppo Find X9 Pro, iPhone 17 Pro and Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. What we will compare today, this will be the operating systems of every device, and here we are speaking of OriginOS 6, HyperOS 3, ColorOS 16, iOS 26 and OneUi 8. What is the difference? How close they are? Let's find out. Okay guys, let's first start by showing you which version every device is using. And let's go here in the Vivo, scroll about me, and you can see we are using OriginOS 6. So it's using Android 16 basically, and OriginOS 6. This is the latest available update for this device. Let's go here on Xiaomi, my device. Of course, here we are using the HyperOS 3.0.30 something. Again, latest and greatest. Let's go here in Oppo, about device, and you can see we are using ColorOS 16 version PLG 11.11.0.16, and these two again they are using Android 16. Oh, we have a new update just appear here on the Oppo, but I will skip that for now because we don't have time just to download updates. Let's go here on the iPhone, general software update, about, and you can see this is iOS version 26.2, which is developer beta version. And let's go here in Samsung, and you can see we are using OneUi 8.0. Yes, I know we have OneUi 8.5, but this is still a beta, and we are mostly focused here on the major updates. iPhone is using developer beta, but to use a developer beta or any beta for the iPhones is way easier than to do this on your Samsung device. Now I will set the same wallpaper for every device, and after that I will start from the first thing you can see on your device, and this is the lock screen. Alright, now all the devices are set with identical wallpapers. Now I will go further and explain you what will happen. Let's first start with the lock screen and always on display. Now all of the devices are on always on display, and you can see all of them has the option to show the wallpaper on the AOD. Of course that will increase the battery consumption, but you have the option to do this. The idea is almost the same everywhere. You can see here the Oppo is showing the battery level on the bottom, Xiaomi is showing it on the upper part. Here on the Oppo, on the Vivo, sorry, too many devices. On the very bottom we have the battery. Here on the iPhone we doesn't have the battery percentage, and here on Samsung we have the battery here on the top where it should be. Also the clock notifications. Also here we have notification in a stack style, and also we have here on Samsung device we have so-called now bar. First to introduce that was iPhone and iOS. I think it came with iOS 18, but I'm not even sure because I think the first one to do this were the LG with their operating system, but anyway they are dead already. Now let's stop and show the lock screen and what we have here. This will be harder because I need to tap. You can see the iPhone can hide the clock behind the wallpaper. That's why I select those kind of wallpapers, because you can see Xiaomi with these big numbers can hide, again with this depth effect, can hide the clock behind the character. And Samsung has a different approach. They create an interesting clock which is moving. That's why I select here that kind of wallpaper with a person, or it should be animal or anything, just to make that clock moving here on Samsung, because this is the clock, and you can see we have here a thin and make it team bold. This is the clock, and the clock itself, if we expand it, you can see it's moving a little bit with the character. So-called depth effect is almost working here. You just tap and hold on the lock screen, and customization should came alive. Not for Oppo. Oppo is and ColorOS is not working like this. You should go inside settings, home screen, lock screen and style, and from here you can start editing it. So let's now do that on Xiaomi. Customize lock screen. So holding on the lock screen will bring that menu, and let's do the same here on Vivo. Just hold it for customization. Again, it is not working, same as ColorOS, and you need again to go in settings, home screen and lock screen. That's it. Tap on lock screen, then tap here, and here comes the edit process. All of them except Oppo and Vivo, you just hold on the lock screen and that bring that customization menu. And from here it's obvious, I already show you on the Samsung, you have that clock which is moving with the character, but it should be, if it's a mountain, this 3D depth effect won't work, and you should select here that clock, which is the bouncy clock. And here you have different styles, show weather information, show daytime above. Of course you can disable this, and that's just a typical standard way to interact with the lock screen. Of course you can select whatever wallpaper you want, and on the iOS tap on customize, and now just tap the clock, select the different versions of the clock, and of course you can enable this depth effect from here or disable it. Also iOS has something interesting. This is generating spatial. You can see this is like a special effect of the wallpaper, which will move like a 3D sphere when you unlock and lock the device, and especially when you move you can see what's happening. And this is an interesting story, how the background is moving. I really like this feature on the iOS, and this is the advantage of iOS over the others. Of course you can add here widgets like all of them can do now. Before that was available for almost every Android device before years, but now it's different. Here on Oppo and ColorOS, what we have, you can just tap and select the widgets you want. Also you can go and select the depth effect, but obviously also you can shrink the clock, make it big, but you can see the depth effect is not working here. So the ColorOS is not detecting this depth effect with this wallpaper. Let's move to Xiaomi, and if we tap here you can see now we have the depth effect. Yes, we have it. Also we have a different effects. We can blur, well, almost every other of these can do this, and we have an AI button, and if we tap this, and now you can see it has a different effect which was just created by this AI. Of course I will switch back, and if we tap here we can select a different clock, and probably the most advanced, the most beautiful and the most interesting lock screen customizations are coming from the HyperOS and Xiaomi. Let's move here to Vivo. You can expand the clock or shrink it. Yes, you can shrink it to that point, but again that depth effect is not working with this wallpaper. If you tap here we can select a different clock. This is like a Samsung implementation of the clock, moving up and down, an interesting way. Let's do like this, like that, like that. Yes, now you can see now this depth effect is working here with that object. Let's select here. All right, like this. Also, you can see the glass effect is available on Oppo. You just need to zoom in and out on the wallpaper to just position it correctly and then create this depth effect to work. Other than that, if you expand it too much, it won't work. So you need additional work here to make this depth effect working. And you can see if I expand the clock again, it won't work correctly. It's not as easy on the iOS. And Xiaomi. Probably Xiaomi again is the most advanced for editing the lock screen, but I think it's enough for the lock screen. Now it's time to go to the home screens. Let's speak about the widgets and the whole home screen experience. What Vivo is doing, you have even the bottom bar here completely copy the iOS bottom bar. Of course, you can do like this, select home screen settings and disable that. Here you have the option for the dock and show background. Now if I disable it, you can see this is completely removed, but by default it will be available, which is direct copy of iOS, or at least to me it is like this. That's something I don't like because there is no personality. Oh, you can see on Samsung we have settings, here the same settings. Here we have some mood cube for OriginOS. From here you can edit the icons. You can make a window style mono, blur, sky, time. If you select mono, it will directly create it with mono colors. A blur one, time. Now we have that sky option enabled. And you can see we have even coming from the clouds, very nice, beautiful animation. A very nice, beautiful, this is so-called liquid glass coming here. What we have here on Xiaomi, transition effect, lock, home screen layout, even more, animation speed, double tap to lock screen. This is important, we have that on every device except the iOS. I really like that kind of things, to double tap to lock, arrange items and so on. We have here effects, blur wallpaper, we can blur it just like on the iOS. Let's select your wallpaper and style, select style, and we have original, and also we have liquid, but that's different kind of liquid. These are just effects on the wallpaper, nothing special by ColorOS. Also we have here icons, we can make it classic, rounded. Yes, you can round the icons from here and make them circle like on the Pixel. We have flux themes, radiance, shadow, material, pebble, different icon styles, and of course you can go to their app store and make them wherever you want. Let's do this on the iPhone. If we tap edit here and select customize, we have now clear, which is the new iOS style, tinted. This will tint the icons, and you have here a lot of options for customization. You can see what's happened. You can do whatever you want, and also you can make them dark, default, and clear again, light, dark, and you can see how many options you have on the iOS. This is really a thing for the iOS. All of them are trying to copy that liquid glass, and especially Vivo. Honor Magic is not here, but Honor are trying to copy this liquid glass more and more. What we have here on the Galaxy, also if you tap here on color palette, you can apply palette to app icons. If I do this, let me just show you, you can see it's applied, but not every application is applied. You can do this on almost every Android device, but not all of the icons will be converted, and this is something I don't like. That's why I always disable that. This is something which appears with the new Android 16.4 pixels, and it's still not finished. Now, let's check the obvious difference here, which is the control center for the iOS. It is completely with the new liquid gloss design. Let's check the Oppo ColorOS. It's still in old style, let's say it like this. And these four guys are working the same way. That's because all the biggest Chinese manufacturers are trying to copy Apple. So if you swipe on the right side, it will bring the so-called control center. And it is same as iOS. You can see even they copied this icon for selecting the speaker. The same icon is here on the same is here. By the way, OriginOS and ColorOS are they are very identical in many ways. Let's do like this on Samsung, and Samsung is still with the so-called old way. When you swipe down, it will bring you the whole notification center. And this is what I like. Pixel is the same. I just want to swipe down and see my control center and notifications at one, not by swiping left or right or trying to reach the upper left corner for iOS, which this is a smaller version of iPhone. This is 17 Pro, not the Max, and it's easier to do this when you stretch your fingers. But if you are using the Max, guys, how you can stretch your fingers to go on the upper left corner? Here in Android, we have separate spaces. If you swipe on the home screen on the right side, this will bring in that way here search, but still we have the option. If we go here, we can select swipe down on home screen, notification, and quick settings. So if you swipe on the right side, it will bring notification. If you swipe on the left, it will bring notifications. Here is control center on the right, on the left is notifications. You can do this or something like this on Samsung by set here edit and panel settings. Now it is together, but you can select separate, and if you select separate, you can swipe here, it will bring notifications. If you swipe here, notifications. If you swipe on the upper right corner, then it will bring that control center. I still prefer the old way, and I hope it won't be removed. I want it together, that's it. And together means swiping down will bring both. Swiping one more time will bring the control center. Swiping up will bring all the notifications. By the way, we have here the OxygenOS 2, but I'm recording with it. This is my OnePlus 15. Let me just show you. Yes, you can see it. This is my OnePlus 15 recording here. But as OxygenOS and ColorOS are becoming identical, there is no need to do a separate video showing the ColorOS and OxygenOS. That's the left part of the screen is always just showing the clock. This is ridiculous. You have such a screen space and do not showing you that you have here notifications. You always need to go here, swipe down, and see that you have notifications. Here it is showing we have notifications. Here it is showing, and here too. And here too, I don't have notifications for Vivo, but it's working the same way. It's just showing you the notifications icons, or you can select numbers or anything. That's something I like in Android. In iOS, you should always swipe on the left part and see the notifications, but people are preferring that way because your device is not bombarding you with a bunch of notifications. You are living an easier life, but I am not agree with that. And start a timer. If we go, of course, we have that dynamic island feature. Let's go here and do a timer. For Samsung device, and you have that pew here, that pew shaped here. Let's do a timer on the Oppo. Samsung are still trying to be a little bit different with this pew shaped timer, And of course, if you swipe down, you will see the timer here. You will see it here again, here again, here again, and here again. It is in notification center, but other than that, it stays in that view on Samsung. Every other is trying to put them in so-called dynamic island, even that these devices don't have this dynamic island. And yes, now we have that option, display origin blur, and we have it here. It's on the left side, here it is on the right side on Xiaomi. On the iPhone it is on the, they are copying themselves, guys. It's an interesting story, but almost the same. And Samsung has did that blur here, and you can swipe between the blur and the stopwatch, and it is in that view. It's not in the middle, but almost behaves the same way. Here on the iOS, you can tap here and it will directly open the blur, or you can just tap here on the clock, it will open the clock. That's how it behaves. If you hold your finger on one of the icons, it will just expand it a little bit. And here, if you tap it, it will expand both the blur and the timer. Here, it will just expand the timer. If you tap here, it will expand the blur. And here you have two buttons. One is for the timer. Tap it again, it will open it. And the other one is for the blur. You can see how identical they are. We have a different blur. I already show you here. Just swipe down and the blur will be, and here you just need to hold and expand it. That's how the settings are looking like. Here we hold, of course we have that glass effect, which I should remove because it's not very understandable what is really happened. Yes, now at least we can see the icons. And guys, what do you think? I think the only different here is Samsung. Samsung is still a little bit different, and that's why I like it. It's not my favorite OS, but I like their identity. They are still part of Android, and it's clearly visible. The others are almost identical, all of them. If we start a timer, you can see it is going here. If you do like this, yes, it is going here. But if I put the icon, here is the icon of the clock. If I open it, yes, and if I go like this, yes, animation logic is, it will expand directly to that dynamic island and start a timer. And now if I just do like this, the animation will go there. If I open it from here, the animation is going on the upper part. Here it is. Let's open, start a timer, do like this. It is the animation logic. It is going to that dynamic island. If I tap here on the icon, and again, it is going again there when you exit from the application. Let's open here and start the timer again. Check the animation logic. Yes, it's going there. Open clock. And yes, just the animation is going there. Now it's time for Samsung. Let's put the app on the home screen, start a timer, and yes, here it's a little bit different. You can see the timer is counting here, but if I tap in the clock and do like this, just the animation is going to the icon. Let's remove it and see. If I tap here, what will happen? It will just go into nowhere. If you doesn't have the icon, it will just go to nowhere. But if you have the icon, the animation will go to the icon. That's it. And guys, I think that's enough comparison of all of the devices. This is everything I want to show you, how identical all the operating systems and all the manufacturers are becoming. So keep in mind that when you buy your next device, it's not so scary. They are very, very identical. And guys, don't forget, if you like this video, just thumbs up and like my other videos. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.